I went to Disneyland for the first time in 5 years. Hi everyone, it's Scott here from That's English School. For the first time を言うと、初めてってことと思ってる方が多いですね。英会話のグループレッスンでね、必ず1人か2人の生徒さんが混乱してしまいます。You went to Disneyland for the first time? No, I said for the first time in 5 years. It wasn't my first time. こんな感じのやりとりが珍しくないですね。5年ぶりにディズニーランドに行きましたという意味になりますね。使い方が 100% 理解できてない方が割と多いような気がしますので、今回はそれをテーマにしました。日常会話でよく出てくるパターンですので、覚えておけばすごく便利だと思います。今から英語で解説しますね。And if you find this video to be useful, please show your support and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Part 1. Clear time periods. I have found this is probably the most common way to use this structure. It's often used in the past tense, so I'll be using that in the example sentences. You know, like after you have done something and you're talking about it afterwards. Here is the basic grammar structure. I did something for the first time in a clear time period. So notice in is always used for the first time in the time period. I drank coffee for the first time in a year. I drank coffee for the first time in a year. So that means I didn't drink any coffee for a period of 1 year, but I had some coffee recently. Here are some examples using clear time periods. The first one is this. I went to Disneyland for the first time in 5 years. I met my friend for the first time in 4 years.
Oh, it's so great to see you, man.
I ate at my favorite hamburger place for the first time in 3 months. He held his wife's hand for the first time in 40 years.
Just like the old days, Maggie.
She rode a bike for the first time in 2 decades. FYI, for your interest, if you open up the Japanese English dictionary and search for 久しぶりに, you're gonna get some really clunky and old-fashioned expressions. In case you're wondering, clunky means this. Yeah, it's not good. In the dictionary, you'll find this kind of clunky stuff.
After a long absence of. After an interval of. After a long separation.
Take my advice. For the first time in is the most commonly used. Here's a quick recap of the sentences.
It was our wedding anniversary last week. 40 years of wedded bliss.
Be quiet! I'm watching my favorite drama!
Sorry, dear. Yes, well, to celebrate, we had a day out in Yokohama. Yeah, we went to Yokohama for the first time in, well, how many years? 10 years, yes. We took a stroll through Yamashita Park and we held hands for the first time in maybe 2 or 3 years.
What are you telling them?
Nothing, dear. I'm just telling them about our date and how we were holding hands.
First time in years.
Yes, that's right. First time in years. And then after that, I took my lovely wife to her favorite restaurant, yes, in Chinatown. It's very well known for the famous, what's it called again?
Did you bring in the washing?
Yes, dear, I'm doing it right now. Okay, yes, my little angel cake.
Did you notice Hiroshi's mustache was slipping off? Whoops! Sorry about that. Okay, let's talk about using general time periods. When we use this pattern, it's exactly the same. But instead of using a very clear number, you use phrases like in a while, that sort of thing. Here are some nice, clear examples for you. The first one is this. She cried for the first time in years. The restaurant raised their prices for the first time in a while.
It's pricey, but it's so good.
We went to a baseball game for the first time in months. They had an argument for the first time in ages.
I don't even want to look at you.
I saw my son for the first time in days. If you want to emphasize that it was a really long time, you can use these. For the first time in what feels like forever. For the first time in what feels like a lifetime. I had lunch with my friends for the first time in what feels like forever. I bought some new clothes for the first time in what feels like a lifetime.
I wanted everything in the shop.
In the UK, we use some other funny expressions. Yonks or yonkers and in donkey's years. We ordered a pizza for the first time in yonks. I took a bus for the first time in donkey's years. Look, it's Tower Bridge. Let's review the sentences. Take a screenshot or write them down.
Well, I went to see a movie. You see, yes. For the first time in ages, yes. I'm very busy, you see, at my company. Yes, very, very busy. But anyway, it was a movie about a dog, yes, a little dog. I laughed and I cried. I hadn't cried for ages. Absolute yonks. But it was so sad. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it right now. The little dog, it died in the end. It died. Yamada-san! Yamada-san! Oh, I haven't seen you for ages. Must be the first time since you got transferred, eh? Have you got time for a few drinks after work tonight?
Part 3 is using since. So this is used when we're talking about from a particular time until now. So it's since plus particular time. 何々以来。何々からずっとしてない。Let's look at how it's used. I ate ice cream for the first time since last summer. So from last summer until now, I didn't have any ice cream. This is the span of time we're talking about. This is often used for a particular time in someone's life or a big life event. I met my friend for the first time since we graduated. So in this case, since we graduated, this is the big life event. I drove a car for the first time since I passed my driving test. The life event was passing my driving test. Since I passed my test. She studied English for the first time since high school. So the time in her life was high school. Since high school. We went on a trip for the first time since the pandemic started. So, the time in our lives was the pandemic starting. She met her friends for the first time since her husband's funeral. So in this case, the big life event is her husband's funeral. Let's recap all of those sentences. It's homework time. Okay, are you ready for a wee bit of homework? Lovely jubbly. Okay, I'm going to give you a Japanese sentence and I want you to change it into some beautiful English using the language from this video. Okay, the sentence is this. 久しぶりに家族と一緒に夕飯を食べた。Okay, この日本語を英語にしてくださいね。コメント欄のところに入れて後でチェックしますので必ずチェックしますよ。Okay? あとは聞きたいことがありましたらね、ぜひぜひコメント欄のところに何でも聞いてくださいね。Okay, the next video to help you improve your English even more is this one right over here. It's about how to use 久しぶり as a greeting. Okay? Let's go. Come on. Click, click. I'll see you over there. Let's go.